Today, we're going to be going over the reaction of Mel Kiper Jr. and others to the Detroit Lions draft on this Friday here. We're going to go through what they believe the Lions' grades are, what they graded for the Detroit Lions in their draft. Is it BS? Is it real? All that lovely stuff. That's what we're going to get into. Let's go. If you don't know Mel Kiper Jr., he's been doing this for a very long time. He's the guy on ESPN that really does all the grades, and he's made the NFL draft the way it is that we see it right now. It continues to get better, bigger and important to the NFL, and regardless if you like his takes or not, he is one of the reasons that the draft is as popular as it is, and a lot of people like to know what Mel Kiper Jr. thinks about their draft. So we're going to go through his responses in this video and others to see if this thing is legit. This is what he said about the Lions draft. He says, I love the way that General Manager Brad Holmes has remodeled his cornerback group this offseason. It was his team's biggest weakness. The Lions ranked 31st in yards per pass attempt allowed, 7.8 and 30th in passing yards allowed, 3,081 last season. They gave up way too many huge completions, so Holmes traded for Carlton Davis and signed Mekhi Robertson, re-signed Emmanuel Moseley and Kendall Vildor, and used his top picks, Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw at 61. This core is now one of the deepest in the entire league. Arnold is my third-ranked cornerback, while Rakestraw lands at number 9 at the position. Both are really good in the run game, too, which means that the defense got more physical on the outside. Holmes is giving up to get Arnold, but I can see why he did it. The Lions had one of the NFL's best rosters from top to bottom. He understands what the Detroit Lions did here. He understands that the Detroit Lions need to get better at that corner position because it was an absolute dumpster fire last year, and he's right. We were getting destroyed. I mean, we were saying 170-yard games was becoming normal against Cam Sutton. It was absolutely ludicrous, and the Lions are a physical team. They like physical players, and the two they got are physical cornerbacks who can stop the run and is the mold of Dan Campbell. So, question for you really quick here. Who is your favorite pick in the Lions draft? It doesn't necessarily have to be the first pick. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue on to what Mel Kiper thought about the Lions draft here. He says, I thought Holmes should have targeted a wideout on day 3, though in round 4 was just higher on Giovanni Manu, 126, on whom we have limited data. He played against bad competition in Canada. Detroit surrendered a 2025 third-round pick trade-up. Mekhi Wingo, 189 selection is outstanding. I have him ranked higher than his former teammate, Jordan Jefferson, who went 116. Sione Vaki, 132, played both running back and safety at Utah. I like him better on offense. The Lions certainly upgrade the cornerback, but Wingo, I don't see any of their day 3 players getting a significant opportunity in 2024. Plus, the 2025 third rounder looms as potential valuable. So he's not liking the trade up with some of these players. That's something that he disagreed with this coaching staff on. But look, if you're going to build the team for the players you want that represent Dan Campbell, that's what they're doing here. They're not just doing it off talent, and I think a lot of people get misconception under what the Detroit Lions are trying to do. They're trying to get Lions players, not necessarily positions. So that's why they trade up and get players they like, because they fit the mold of Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes. Now let's look at the corners now after this year's draft. He talked about we were one of the worst, and now we have one of the best. And he's right. You got Terrion Arnold, who's going to be a number 1. To me, he had him as ranked 3rd best corner. I had him as the number 1/2 with Quinyon Mitchell. So to me, that's a slam dunk. Ennis Rakestraw, physical corner. And we got him in round 2, and I think that's where he was supposed to be. Some had him mocked in the first round, and I don't agree with that. I said early second round. We got him at 61 in the second round, so to me, that's a damn good pickup for sure. Carlton Davis, who we traded for, better than Cam Sutton. Emmanuel Moseley, we're taking a flyer on him. Mekhi Robertson, he could play the slot. Stephen Gilmore, and right there, who's a developmental guy. So the Lions' cornerback room is much better. It went from one of the worst to one of the best. And you can't put a grade on that. A position where we were getting slaughtered daily. We were getting destroyed every game. It was an absolute terror in the secondary. So I like the fact that they completely revamped it. We had to get better there. We were not going to be able to compete for a Super Bowl having the same cornerbacks, Cam Sutton, and having the same guys, and Jerry Jacobs, and Will Harris, and it wasn't going to happen. They had to revamp this position, and they did it. We don't have to worry about corner for many years now. That is a good feeling when you watch this secondary get dominated. So I got a question for you. What grade do you have for the Lions draft class? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comments below. Before we get to Mel Kiper's grades, there's other individuals that gave the Lions grade a high standing here. And we're going to go to Vinny Layer from Sporting News. He gave him an A. He says, the analysis here, the Lions didn't have much unfinished business after GM Brad Holmes crushed the draft and free agent in the 2 previous seasons. The top of the list by far was getting 2 starting caliber cornerbacks who could fit and make a lot of play in Aaron Glenn's scheme. Arnold and Rakestraw can help clean up the Lions' issues in 2023. And I think we have to put that into effect before we do just all grades here in what Mel Kiper believes. They made this position revamped here. They absolutely did. And it was something they had to get done and must occur. Analysis here from Chad Router. Says the Lions doubled up at the corner in the first round and second round, flexing their aggressiveness by trading a third rounder to move up for Arnold instead of staying put and possibly selecting a Bama teammate Kool-Aid McKinstry. Detroit's got fair value, Rakestraw in the second round, though the team also could have used another edge rusher receiver. With Taylor Decker Peninsula already in place at the 2 bookends, the Lions are one of the few teams able to take a chance on a massive super athletic tackle like Manu. A developmental project out of Canada, Vaki could turn out to be a hammer of a running back and special teamer, but the 32 spot jump up cost him Detroit's 4th round for next year, which is fine. Everybody's upset that we screwed up in by trading up, but folks, we have a ton of draft cap. We still got 7 picks next year. And the Lions, again, as we continue to build this roster from what it was when we first started with Brad Holmes till now, if you have 7 or 8 people in the draft you draft, not everyone's going to make the team. Look, if we would have took 8 players in this draft, I feel like possibly 1 or 2 of them wouldn't have made the team. So I'm not mad about using draft capital this year and next year. It's going to be the same thing. This roster is so good that you're not going to keep everybody. So let's revisit what the Lions did in the draft here. Terrion Arnold, by trading up. To me, you're getting the number 1 corner by trading up a 3rd rounder. No one's going to remember that 3rd rounder when you see Arnold balling on Sundays. Rakestraw, much better tackler. We're tired of getting beat up in the secondary. I don't have a problem with that. Giovanni Manu. Look, we do got to look at the offensive line guard and tackle position for depth. He's going to do that, it seems, at the guard position. Sione Vaki, special teamer, running back, and safety. Multi-dimensional. We love multi-dimensional here. Mekhi Wingo, we can develop him, and he could be a good defensive lineman for the Lions. And Christian Mohogany in the 6th round is the biggest steal of the draft, in my opinion, an A+. So when it comes to the Lions draft, our guy out there, Mr. Mel Kiper Jr., gave the Detroit Lions a B grade. And I'm giving the Lions an A grade. I think this is an A grade for this football team. So he gave it a B, and I'll give it an A. And I think, again, what Mel Kiper's missing here is the Lions draft for Detroit Lions type of players. This is something that they have done and they started with. So, yes, it may have quote-unquote been a reach in his opinion, but not if you're trying to get your type of players, Detroit Lions type of players. Remember last year, everybody mocked the Detroit Lions draft. End up being the best draft in all of football We could have gotten 3 Hall of Famers legitimately. So I give it an A grade. Mel Kiper gets it a B grade. So question for you here. What is the grade for the Lions draft class? What do you have for the Detroit Lions? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And look, other individuals gave the Detroit Lions some good grades as well. They did. And you look at USA Today, they gave them a B. Sports Illustrated gave them an M. And, of course, like we talked about here, you know that we got a B grade from NFL.com and A grade from Sporting News. So the grades are over the place. And Mel Kiper gave it an A or a B grade. So, look, you're not seeing any super horrible grades at all. You're seeing the Detroit Lions getting some pretty positive grades, A and B, and let's keep it 100. The truth is here, we got to wait 3 years for the real draft grades to come out. Everybody graded after the last year's draft is C's and F's and all bad and end up being the A++. So if you're one of those individuals that's just like, we want to wait and see a little bit, I'm with you, right? I do grades right off what I see from the talent-wise, and still, like with Mohogany, should have been a second or third round. We got him in the 6th round. That's a steal because I've seen this guy's tape. This guy is going to be the Lions guard for many years, right? He's a steal. We got a guy who's going to be a starting, probably Pro Bowl guard in the 6th round, and you can't argue with that. And I do truly believe that. So, yeah, I'm with you. The Lions need to wait 3 years till we get the official grades out there and looking forward. But, hey, it's good to see what other people are thinking of our Detroit Lions. Again, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Hit that notification bell and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. With that said, folks, adios.